Today's video might be the most controversial video that we've ever produced. We are going to be looking at 5 backpacks that we believe have reached classic status. We're going to name them, anoint them, and talk about their journey to becoming classics. But first, hello, my name is Roland from Rushfaster, and at Rushfaster we do guides and walkthroughs bringing you better gear and better ways to carry. If you like the sound of that, like, subscribe, bell, newsletter, let's get into it. So what makes a classic a classic? Well, Wikipedia, the source of all human knowledge, defines a classic as an outstanding example of a particular style, something of lasting worth or with a timeless quality, of the highest quality, or something that exemplifies its class. And while that's good enough for me, I think we all know a classic has to have something special, something that makes it endure while others fade away into obscurity, something that has the ability to create memories, something that has an impact and influence on its environment. It has to have some magic. I'm getting carried away, but before we get to the bags, here's the criteria for what makes a backpack a classic, according to Rushfaster. History. Does it have a story outside of just being a good backpack? Influence, either on other backpacks or on people and popular culture. Endurance. Has it remained in the public's consciousness? And X factor. Does it have something that other backpacks don't? We believe that the 5 backpacks on this list meet that criteria. Could there be other bags out there that deserve to be on this list? Perhaps. If you think we've missed something, I'd love to hear about it. Let us know in the comments. Now, before I get into this, I just want to show you what my daily carry is and what I'm going to be putting in these packs as examples. A MacBook Pro 14-inch in the Rushfaster laptop sleeve, my current tech pouch, the Alpaca tech case, my personal item, the Bihn Side Effect, the Blunt Metro umbrella, Jacques Marie Marge sunglasses, Nomad slim wallet, OrbitKey Key Organiser, 750ml Camelbak Chute water bottle, and my Chufunyu Eclipse travel press for brewing my tea and keeping it hot. Okay, so the first classic backpack is a Jansport. And I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure that at least half of you have owned a Jansport at some point in your life. Jansport has appeared in television and movies. Heck, even Spider-Man uses a Jansport. And I'm sure that when most people think of a school backpack, they're picturing a Jansport. In fact, to give you an idea of just how popular the Jansport is, they are the world's largest backpack maker, and together with the North Face, who are owned by the same VF Corporation, they sell nearly half of all of the backpacks sold in the United States. Now, Jansport was one of the companies responsible for students using backpacks to carry their school books. Before the 70s, if you can just cast your mind back for a moment, kids would carry their books in their hands or tie a belt around them, which seems crazy. It seems like that was the kind of thing that happened in like the 1920s, but no, apparently in the 1970s, they were still doing that. Anyway, the Jansport that we are inducting into the Rushfaster Classic Bags Hall of Fame is the Jansport Superbreak. Now, this is the Plus variant, and it's the company's #1 selling bag. It's available in various colors and prints, but here it is in navy in all of its glory. It's made with 100% recycled 600D polyester, and the lining of the bag is undyed, which Jansport says helps to reduce water waste. Now, by bag nerd standards, this is a pretty simple pack. It's 26 liters, so it's a decent size, but there's very little organization or even structure. The straps are just okay. There's a water bottle pocket, a padded laptop sleeve, but this is a pack that only costs $45 US, and it comes with a lifetime warranty. But like all packs that are simple, it provides opportunity. This bag can be just about anything that you want it to be. Yes, it was originally designed for students, but it's really just a big old bag. It could be an overnighter, a day pack, or a gym bag. For its price, it feels like it's well made, the design is iconic, and it's kind of like a pair of Levi's 501s. You know, it just is. Now, I think what makes the Jansport Superbreak Plus a classic is a couple of things. Firstly, at its price, it's very accessible. The fact that it's available in so many colors means that you can find one that suits your style or your personality, and it's only $45. So, you know, draw on it, put patches on it, put pins in it, leave an egg sandwich at the bottom of it during school holidays. It can really become a part of you. And I think if you owned one of these at the beginning of high school, you may well have used it throughout the rest of your high school, which means that you've gone through puberty with it. You've taken it to soccer training. You've smoked behind the school hall with it. You've taken it on all of those high school adventures. And of course, there's that history of it being one of the original student backpack companies. So many people just know and trust Jansport because they have a history with it. Okay, the next classic backpack is the mighty Goruck GR1. Now we're including both the 21 and 26 litre versions. They're pretty much the same bag, just different sizes. If you've been into bags for any length of time, you've probably heard of Goruck. They're an American sporting equipment company founded in 2008 by former Green Beret Jason McCarthy. As McCarthy was transitioning out of the military, he started messing around making backpacks for his military friends. His goal at the time was to make sure that the rucks would function and look the part in Baghdad and New York City. McCarthy said that he felt like this was the bridge he needed in his life. So it had to be tough enough for war, but simple and beautiful enough for the fashionistas of New York City. The result was the GR1, a 26 litre military-inspired rucksack. McCarthy started rucking events, which are like physical challenges while wearing a weighted pack. I'm not sure if that's 100% the most accurate description. I've never done one, but anyway. Now he sold these GR1s out the back of his truck at these events, so quite enterprising. Anyway, I guess word got around that these packs were well built and looked cool because it wasn't long before other versions of the pack came out, such as the GR0, later to be named the GR1 21 litre. Skip ahead a few years and the Goruck lineup has expanded even further. There are GR2s, GR3s, all manner of pouches, there's apparel, footwear, and loads more. Today there's a worldwide community of Goruck fans with Facebook groups across the world proudly showing off their Gorucks, talking about rucking events or searching for a GR1 in burnt orange. Now, active fan base aside, this is a great pack. It's sort of tactical, but sort of street. Just as he intended, I suppose. I really like it, but I accept that it's not for everyone. However, it's hard to deny the build quality, durability, and genius of its simplicity. Let's take a quick look at the outside of the pack. This material is a tough 1000D Cordura, zips a YKK with silent 550D paracord pulls, molly webbing on the front for attaching accessories, and a big chunky grab handle on top. And of course, there is this iconic slash zippered pocket, which is pretty slim. Something that's often complained about on these packs, actually. I don't mind it. I just only put the slim things in there. These are some of the thickest shoulder straps that you're ever likely to see. And the reason why they're so thick is that this pack is designed to carry heavy loads comfortably. And I assume that's mainly for the rucking activity that I mentioned earlier. But it means that if you're carrying heavy equipment like camera gear or tools, then this bag is a good option. There's a removable frame sheet in the back and a raised laptop compartment that will fit up to a 16-inch MacBook. Now, the pack opens flat, so it's easy to pack and easy to access. Now, you'll see that there are a couple of small pockets around the place, but otherwise, not a lot of organisation going on. Now, this is something that people love about the Goruck GR1, the fact that it's a blank canvas and you can set it up however you want. You can attach things using the internal molly here. You can use pouches, kind of like I'm doing, packing cubes, great for traveling. I've just used my couple of pouches here. If this was going to be my everyday bag, I would probably attach one of the pouches up there, just buy myself a little bit of space back here and configure it that way. In here, this is sort of what I use as my quick access pocket for my wallet and my sunglasses. Now here's my personal GR1 26 from 2017. So it's about 5 years old. I'm not the first owner, so I haven't owned it the whole time, but it looks great. It looks great. The materials are now nice and soft and broken in, so it's very comfortable. And I've decorated it in the traditional way of Goruck owners with a patch and a carabiner, and I do quite like how the colors match. I think that's pretty cool. I'm using it as a camera bag at the moment, but I've used it as an EDC bag, a travel bag, a dad bag. It's a bit like a blank canvas, so the world's your oyster when you're shucking the seas of the Goruck GR1. Now the next inductee won't be a surprise for those of you who've been watching me on the channel for a little while. It comes from Seattle's Tom Bihn, who have reached a cult-like status in the carry world. Fans of Tom Bihn call themselves Binions. They get together on Tom Bihn forums and Facebook groups and discuss new releases, new colors. They trade old designs and speculate about upcoming reissues and share their packing tips and tricks. And it's generally a very positive and supportive community that has a diverse membership. It's not just traditional bag nerds and EDC heads. There's a wider appeal that sees people from all walks of life contributing to the discussions. And I think a large part of that comes from Tom Bihn, the man who actually left the company earlier this year. But he seems to be so focused on the design and functionality of the packs he makes that there's a purity of enjoying a bag for the sake of just the bag, and that comes through. I think that some of these other brands that we're discussing today, there are cultural touch points that have influenced the bag or have been responsible, at least in part, for their popularity, whether it's from school or the outdoors or the military. But with Tom Bihn, I really feel like there's no strong single cultural identity attached to it. The popularity of it comes from just being like a really great bag. Now, the flip side of that is that function often comes before form. A lot of people have said of the designs, oh, it's growing on me, or I know it's a great pack, but I just can't get over how it looks. But arguably their most popular bag is the Synapse, and I have this one here, the Synapse 25, which is the 25 litre variant. It also comes in a 19 litre variant, the Synapse 19, which I also have. Now, this is my personal bag. I've had it for a couple of years. I love it. I use it a lot. But it is an older model, so it doesn't have quite all of the features that this Synapse 25 has. So we're going to be looking specifically at this one today, but we are inducting them both. So you either see what I mean about the pack, or you've no idea why I just wax philosophical for the last 2 minutes about the look of a backpack. You just think it looks like a backpack. Now, for the record, I love it. I think it looks great. It's very well made by a group of in-house seamstresses, many of whom who have been with the company for a long time and pop up occasionally on the company's Instagram. It has YKK zips, 525D ballistic nylon on the outside, 400D halcyon on the inside. Comes in a lot of color combinations that you probably won't find other manufacturers producing. It's a really tough bag without looking tough. This is also an extremely innovative pack. The long story short is that all of the organization is on the outside of the pack, and each of these pockets have their own independent volume, which means that the inside of the pack is free for you to use at all times. Sometimes I have very little in the main compartment, and all of these external pockets are full of my stuff. And the most interesting of these external pockets is the water bottle pocket, which sits flush against the middle of the bag. So you can see it absolutely swallows my Camelbak Chute. And this is great because it keeps the weight of the water bottle, which is often the single heaviest item in our packs, directly in the center, so the bag remains balanced at all the time. There's this quick little access pocket on the front. I just keep my wallet in here. Then there are two surprisingly sizable pockets on either side. So all the stuff that you might need to grab on the run goes in here, and it's easily accessible. You can swing the bag to your left or your right and get what you need in an instant. Then there's this massive pocket at the bottom. I'm keeping my tech pouch in here, but it's easily big enough for a jacket or a couple of pouches. And then you have all of the inside still to go. So on the inside, you'll notice that there is no laptop compartment. Tom Bihn do sell laptop cases, which can be attached up the top here, but because I have the Rushfaster laptop sleeve, I just use that. So something that's not unique to Tom Bihn, but they do very well, is a pouch ecosystem. They sell all range of pouches with all different sizes and all different use cases. And you can use these pouches however you like, but most of them will attach to your Tom Bihn bag via O-rings, and these little O-rings are all over the bag. Now let's take a look at the back panel. These are the updated edgeless straps, and the previous generation straps were fine, but these are perfect. They are an excellent width and thickness and firmness. I find these very comfortable. One interesting point to make about the Synapse is that it doesn't have a frame sheet. They do sell one separately though, and I did buy one for my Synapse 19, but I haven't been using it here and I haven't minded. So that's the bag in a nutshell. I traveled to Europe in 2019 for a month and used this for one bag travel, did great. I've used it as an everyday bag when I have a slightly larger loadout. It's been a dad bag on several occasions. It's a great size for a variety of things. There's an updated version of this pack called the Cynic, which is very similar, but it opens flat, or these are the main differences at least. It opens flat, has a dedicated laptop compartment, as well as a frame sheet. That's only been released in the last few years, so this is the one. This is the OG. Now, people love this bag. They love it, and they love Tom Bihn. And I can't think of another carry company, apart from maybe Goruck, where I've seen people become this passionate about a bag. Now, I don't know about you, but I see this next bag absolutely everywhere, and I think part of that is because it's such a distinctive design that I notice it, and then I think the other part of that is that it's the most famous tactical bag in the world. I am, of course, talking about the 511 Tactical Rush. Now 511 Tactical has its beginnings in 1960s California when rock climber Royal Robbins was preparing to take on one of the toughest climbs in the world, El Capitan. I think I've said that right. The degree of climbing difficulty of this mountain was rated at 511. That was the hardest setting for rock climbing at the time. His wife Liz sewed him a pair of pants that they dubbed the 511 pants. Anyway, the Robbins Company was founded, the pants were produced for consumers, and eventually the FBI Training Academy started ordering these pants because the climbing pants were really great for the shooting range because they could hold so much equipment. So that's how the company started and found its way to providing products to military and law enforcement. This one that I have here is the Rush 24 2.0. It's a 37 litre pack, which is huge. But it also comes in 24 litres, that's the Rush 12, 55 litres, the Rush 72, and 60 litres, the Rush 100. This is the most popular one. It's the company's most sold bag globally in their collection. In fact, you'll see loads of cheaper, inferior versions of this, like fakes of this bag, being sold in shopping centers and on Amazon. But this one here, this is the real deal. The Rush 24 was the standard issue off-the-shelf bag for the Australian troops heading to Afghanistan and the Middle East. In fact, it's widely used in many countries by first responders and the military. The Rush has also appeared in video games, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon franchise, for example, as well as TV shows and movies like Jurassic World and Barry. And like a lot of military clothing, it's been adopted by civilians for its usefulness as well as its aesthetics. Now, I like some military influenced things, the Goruck, for example, a vintage fatigue pant or shirt, a field watch, but this is a pretty full-on military look. And that has obviously resonated with a lot of people given the popularity of the bag. So if you're into it, I think you'll be way into it. This is a bag for someone with a lot of stuff who needs a lot of organization. It's a completely different way of carrying than some of the other bags on this list. So let's take a quick look. This pack is manufactured in Vietnam from 1000D nylon, YKK zippers, and Duraflex hardware. So it's tough and as well made as you'd expect. There's MOLLE webbing sort of everywhere. And 511 sell a range of pouches to attach to the outside of the pack. There are some interesting external access pockets. So these sideways opening ones, for example, which I guess you could keep coins in or maybe a wallet. And then there's this large one here with a fairly comprehensive admin panel built in. And then there is also a secret compartment for guns, I think, but I can't get my whole arm in there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I could see this pack being very useful for an electrician or an IT engineer, you know, tools and cables and all that sort of stuff. There are two really nicely hidden water bottle pockets on either side of this pack that actually have quite a bit of volume, and you'd never know that they were there unless you knew that they were there. There's a quick access pocket on top with some sort of soft fleece material on the inside. Good to keep your sunnies in there. And there's this zippered area at the back which will take a hydration bladder. There's a frame sheet, some padding, and some fairly heavy duty shoulder straps with, you can see, some contouring which sits up around the shoulders. So all of that together, as you can imagine, it's a very comfortable pack to carry. And on the inside there is just a lot of space. 3 pockets on the front panel side here, 2 mesh pockets and one that's not see-through, and just a whole lot of space. Behind here is a padded laptop compartment which is raised quite far off the bottom. So even though the Rush 24 or any of the Rush series are unashamedly tactical, the size, the organization, the comfort of the carry system means that it's a pack that could be used as a travel bag, a dad bag, an EDC bag perhaps if you have a bigger loadout, definitely a work bag. It comes in a few different colors, though most of them are military-inspired colors. But I have a feeling that fans of this pack won't mind that one bit. Okay, now for something completely different, the Fjallraven Kanken. This really needs no introduction or justification as to why it was included, but it does have an interesting story. As the 70s came to a close in Sweden, statistics were showing that up to 80% of the population suffered from back pain at some point in their lives, and the issues usually began during childhood. During this time, shoulder bags were very popular with students. They'd fill them up with their books and sling them over one shoulder, which of course resulted in back pain. Kind of like what was happening in America, I suppose, with the Jansport. Anyway, the owner of Fjallraven, a Swedish outdoor equipment company founded in 1960, Arke Norden, apologies for butchering your name, sir, joined forces with the Swedish Guide and Scout Association and designed the Kanken with the purpose of it being an affordable and functional backpack for students to carry books and binders. The Kanken was introduced in 1978 and like magic, Sweden's back pain diminished. The Kanken has remained largely unchanged since it was originally introduced. It does now come in a few more colours and a lot more colours and a couple of different configurations, but it's very popular the world over. In fact, 200 Kankens are sold every hour worldwide, which means that while you've been watching this video, they've sold 50 of them. That's bonkers. It's an iconic design, and its bright colours and the sort of cutesy size of it has made it very Instagrammable. We've seen it on celebrities and in high fashion magazines, and it's also it's an affordable pack, so it's accessible. Let me show you some of the details. So, apart from its history and its hold on popular culture, the most interesting thing about this pack is probably the material, which makes them highly water resistant. It's called Vinylon F. It's a synthetic fabric that behaves more like a natural fiber, and it swells as it becomes damp. So, as it swells, the gaps between the woven fiber close and becomes more resistant to water getting through. And because of this, there's no coating that needs to be maintained, and the water resistance will last as long as the bag. There's this little pocket on the outside, big oversized grab handles that can be closed with a button latch. There's some fairly, let's be honest, unimpressive shoulder straps. I mean, it's only a small bag, so maybe you're not supposed to fill it up too much. But then again, I imagine that the kids were lugging pretty heavy school books in the 80s. So there are 2 water bottle pockets, one on either side, and they're tiny. I couldn't get my Camelbak Chute in there or my Chufunyu Eclipse travel press, so I've used it for my umbrella, which does go in there okay. And then on the inside, it actually holds my loadout. So there's no pockets on the inside, but there is I don't know if this is supposed to be a laptop compartment, but it sort of serves as a laptop compartment for me at least. But what's interesting is there's this piece of fabric which you're supposed to keep in there, because here it says, this seat pad stored in the inside back pocket keeps contents from pressing against the back, while also making sure a comfortable rest is never far away. So maybe you're supposed to take it out and sit on it. I don't know. I'd probably get rid of this and just keep my laptop in there. And that's all there is to it. Look, I definitely see the appeal. And while this pack is not going to work for me at this point in my life, I would love to see my kids wearing these to school. I think that'd be super cute. I do think that there are a lot of parallels between the Jansport and the Kanken, as I mentioned earlier. They were both born out of a need to improve students' lives. They're affordable, durable, simple, and you can find one to match your personality. You know, customize it with pins, drawing, crochet apparently is a thing, or embroidery. Definitely a classic, and I like it, but I can't use this. Putting this video together was the first time I came face to face with some of these bags, and there were a few that I didn't think I would enjoy much at all, if I'm being honest. They just weren't my style, didn't do it for me, weren't interesting enough. But in researching them and then using them for a period, I've come to see their charms and why they have stayed in the public's consciousness for so long. I know that we're saying that we're labeling them as Rushfaster classics, but the truth is that they have been classics for a while, all of them. And they all have that magic about them. You put them on and they make you feel a certain way. So that's our 5 classic backpacks. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that these are all worthy? Did we miss any? Let me know in the comments, please. I hope you found this video useful. There are details of everything that I've mentioned down in the description below. And if you do make a purchase using one of those links, they go a long way to supporting the work that we do here at Rushfaster, so you know we appreciate that. Thank you. Until the next one, I'm Roland from Rushfaster, and this has been Rushfaster's 5 Classic Backpacks. Take care.